Hi, my name is Michael James and my friends call me the Grape Meister. I've been growing grapes and making wine for years and I want to share my experiences with you. In this video, I'm going to briefly cover the following material: red and white wine differences, crushing the grapes, the fermentation process, the second fermentation process, and the final bottling. There's not a whole lot of difference between making white wine and red wine. The key ingredient in both processes are grapes. The only difference in the process is that the skin and the stems of the grapes are removed for the production of white wine. That's because there are tannins in the skin of the grape, and those tannins give red wine its distinct color and taste. You can use red grapes as long as you remove the skin prior to the fermentation process to make white wine. If you use white grapes, removal of the skin is not as critical as using red grapes to make white wine. White wine receives its color from the pulp of the grape. Depending on the type of grape you use, the final color of the wine can be yellow, pink, white, or even pale green. Conventional white wine making usually starts with the harvesting process. Commercial vineyards will carefully check every day to make sure that the fruit is harvested at the peak of ripeness. Some of the key factors that determine that condition includes the fruit's ripeness, flavor, condition, and most importantly, the sugar content. The next step is crushing the grapes, and it is a fairly straightforward process. If you're making a small batch of white wine, then you can use a very clean 5-gallon plastic bucket to do the crushing. You want to lightly crush the grapes and carefully remove the seeds and the stems. If your vineyard is not in the production phase yet, then you can actually purchase white wine juice from a winemaking supplier. They can even supply you with any other items that you might need for the entire process. The next step is the fermentation process, and many winemakers consider this to be a little tricky. You have to prevent premature fermentation prior to the addition of the proper yeasts, which assist with the conversion of sugar content into actually alcohol. The entire process is usually complete in 1 to 4 weeks, depending on the type of white wine you are producing. You should check the vats at least once a day while maintaining the ideal tank or vat temperature of between 15 and 18 degrees Celsius or 58 and 65 degrees Fahrenheit. While fermentation is occurring, it is critical to prevent air from entering the vat or tank because this could set off spoilage or a discoloration of the final product. There are many airlocks that can be used to allow the fermentation gases to escape the vat while preventing air from entering. Check with your wine supplier vendor for recommendations. Some winemakers will add specific bacteria that will initiate a second fermentation process that transforms malic to lactic acid, and the result is a softer wine. The final stage is called racking of the wine. Quite simply, it's the result of separating the wine from the yeast that remains in that wine itself. Actually, you can get a more full-bodied white wine by leaving some minor traces of the remaining yeasts. The bottling process for white wine is identical to red wine, and you can see that process in the Bottling, the Final Touch to Good Winemaking, which is a page on my website. You can see that website at www.totalwinesystem.com. If you want more information, be sure to go to my website at www.totalwinesystem.com and sign up for my mini course. The best part is that it's free. That's right, it's free. Why wait? Do it now.